You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Snap, the kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Corey! It's Corey! Got a touchdown! Corey's got a touchdown! Oh man! Corey's got a touchdown! Hands it off to Harvin. He comes back. Say goodbye.
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your boy Corey.
It's Dan.
Delatorre.
And the boy J Scott 25. What it do, y'all boys?
What up, 2-5?
Yes, sir.
We missed you last week, Nick.
That was quick. Got a text from the wife. Like
Second
11
time in this pregnancy.
at like 11 a.m. Got a text from the wife at like 11 a.m. being like, "Think my water broke," and I was like, "Okay, let's figure that out." And then by 12 o'clock, I think I was texting the boys. I'm like, "Hey guys, not going to be on the show tonight. We'll be in the hospital."
Yeah, we had a lot of curious people in the chat wondering where you were. I was like, you'll find out in due time, but it's all right if somebody misses. You know, when you only record once a week, sometimes things happen.
Yeah, did not get clearance from the CEO of the family to do the show from the hospital. That was
Understood.
I think a non-starter.
Yeah, Doc, you pay for that, though, my boy.
Yeah. We'll take it out. Take it up with Paycom.
2 week notice next time, man.
What's crazy is both my daughters were born early. Both of them exactly 36 weeks one day.
Wow.
That's fire.
Wife's just got an Instapot. Wife is an Instapot. Don't need 40 weeks. 36 is enough.
They're good to go.
Wife's healthy, baby's healthy, home.
Baby. Not a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Not a lot of sleep going on. But yeah, we're doing great. Mom's healthy, baby's healthy. Frankie loves her new sister, Elle. All you can ask for. Happy and healthy. Happy, healthy, tired.
That's all
You
you
got
can
like
ask
2
for,
hours
man.
of miss of sleep, son.
Good Lord.
Has she came home yet?
I'm about to say
Yeah.
every 2 hours. It's on the hour of the hour. Hearing
Yeah.
something going
Yeah,
on.
we got home. So born right now. Yeah, 6:38 p.m. We are officially 1 week old. 6:38 p.m.
Big claps up.
Big claps. 7
W's
claps.
in the chat.
7 claps.
Yeah, W's in the chat, boys.
Got home Wednesday. Didn't have to go to the NICU or anything, so got home Wednesday. Frankie met her Tuesday night, and then Wednesday. So yeah, everyone was healthy. Easy. Other than that, but yeah, Jordan. She every 2 to 3 hours she wakes up, cries, feed.
I do not miss those times, but it's so precious. It looks so sweet. It's very
It
cute.
is.
It's the most
It
magical thing I think you will ever lay your human eyes on. But at the same time, does it come with a tough task at hand?
Well, my wife is being a soldier. My nipples are useless to the baby, and I'm going back to work. So
I'm trying to tell you, yeah, she's a soldier.
she lets me sleep at night.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
There's a new thing that came up for me called a push present. I never knew that exists. Was that around your time, Corey?
Yeah, for sure.
See, I was
My
new
wife-
to the game.
my wife's
'Cause I
very
thought that was
materialistic,
being made
right?
up on me. I thought I was being
Yeah.
finessed.
Yeah, I bought my car right around the time Frankie was born, so I gave myself a push present the last time. Didn't have to do a push present this time. I can blame it on, hey, I was in the planning processes. You should have kept the baby for another month.
That's nice. I hope she doesn't listen to the podcast.
She doesn't. Sometimes she tunes in live.
Wow. Okay. Well, now you owe her a present.
All right, something on your to-do list.
Well,
you haven't done
you
a
guys
push.
can-
The heck? What's going on?
So for Frankie, I bought myself a new car. Right
So you got to buy her a car. That's how that works.
Right before Frankie was born. Her car's paid off. She doesn't want a new car. Her car's paid off. There's no car note.
That's the best feeling.
Mm.
Man.
Hey, y'all pound that like button. If you're on Twitter, retweet, comment, share, all of that, man. We appreciate y'all for pulling up the Stadium and Gale, but make sure y'all pound that, retweet, like if you're on YouTube, etc. We hanging out today. How was your weekend, Jordan?
It was pretty chill for me, man. You know, the Easter is always, family vibes, and my Easter started on Saturday, so we went to Journey Church on Saturday to do like a big Easter hunt out there for like the kids. They like dropped it.
You go to Journey?
I don't usually. I usually go to family churches right by my house, but my wife used to go to Journey Church when she lived in Lake Worth, so we went there because she said they have like an amazing Easter egg hunt. They had like a little petting zoo and stuff. It was a nice little vibe for the kids. But yeah, we went there Saturday, and I thought this churching was done. But nope. You cannot go on a Sunday and not go to the Lord's house. So we doubled back on a Sunday and went to another service. It was a good service, though, and my daughter got to see some of her friends. So it was a nice one, man. I enjoyed the Easter festivities as it was going on. It gave me a chance to just kick the feet back, let them Easter hunt, let them play with all the little toys they got out the Easter basket, and I do my thing. So I'll take it as a cheat day if you ask me.
Nice.
What y'all did this weekend?
Just relaxed a lot, bro. I didn't get it to them. I got older kids now, so not really doing Easter egg hunting and all of that. Did church on Saturday. Journey as well. I don't know which one you went to. I went to the 4:00 service on Saturday. Didn't go Sunday.
5. It was at 5.
Okay, we missed each other. We would have ran into each other, bro.
Right, it's crazy.
That's it, man. And just family, hung out. Oh, I had to go down to Miami for a player dinner on the Flow Factory side, bringing some player acquisition. So hung out in Miami for a little bit on Good Friday. Sunday, just kicked my feet up, kicked it with Pops, man. Sip some whiskey, some scotch, vibed out a little bit.
Sounds like a vibe.
Yeah, not much for me. I was in DC for work for most of the week, so came back relatively tired. And I'm moving. So I close on a new house on Wednesday. So I'm going to be moving. Then I go out of town this weekend and then moving next week. So played a little golf, went to Radiant Church here in South Tampa on Sunday morning, grabbed brunch, and then otherwise just kind of a relatively low-key evening. But this will be the last time we get to enjoy
that view, huh?
Man.
Yeah.
So,
can you pick up the computer? Can we pick up the camera? Can we see what you see? We only get that over the shoulder.
I haven't seen every angle with this view. I'm gonna be honest with you. He used to use like a different view.
Man.
He switch it up.
Yeah, that's it right there. It don't get no better than that.
Now the bachelor crib's out of here. That's it.
Yeah, it's time to grow up, moving. Oh, I'll say I was involved in the making of 2 loaves of sourdough. Now, one might argue my involvement was minimal, potentially minimal. But I was still there project managing, taste testing, being told to not cut in too early. I've been criticized multiple times. Yeah. So, yeah.
Hold on.
I get a little trigger happy when it comes to wanting to cut open a loaf of new bread. But, but we go ahead.
Scott Williams played center for the Bulls.
Okay.
His ring is the same as Michael Jordan's. Don't you let anyone tell you.
I appreciate that.
Don't you let anyone tell you
I'm with
what
you.
You Gators didn't do for that sourdough.
I didn't know who that center was. I'm gonna be honest with you. Until you said Michael Jordan and explained a lot.
Yeah,
of things.
I didn't know.
I had no idea. Who
got the same ring. Got the same ring as Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but I mean,
stranger might think you stole it.
Buddy, I don't even think Scott wore a jersey. I think he was.
Well, I mean, this is a good example. I met Christian Leitner on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, I've seen that, man.
Yeah,
that's one of my childhood goals right
Miami Heat legend.
Miami Heat legend. Yeah, Dream Team member.
Just do. We ain't gotta talk about the Heat.
He's a part of the dream team. Now, was he Michael Jordan of the dream team? No, probably not. But still part of the dream team. So that's what I am, part of Sarah's dream team, sourdough. But we have gone on long. We've got a busy show. We've got Drew Hughes coming on. If you guys have followed UF recruiting in the last decade, this is his second stint back at UF. He was here with Jim McElwain for quite some time. And then we have Johnny Townsend. I think he's going to stop in. We're going to talk all about the scrimmage. We're going to talk a little bit about basketball, talk a little bit about baseball. We're going to talk about it all, gymnastics. So let's get into it, Corey. Let's get a quick Brunt ad read, and we'll get on with the show.
Stadium and Gale is powered by the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys. Make sure y'all hit my man Greg up at bruntinsurance.com or give him a call at 954-589-2204. Life insurance, automobile insurance, motorcycle, RVs, boats. I think that kind of wraps it up, huh?
Yeah, I can't lie.
Brunt
I
Insurance.
got a true story about it. My wife actually used Greg, I think it was like a week ago. She used it for her embroidery machine. She had to bring it to an event, and she got insurance on it. So Corey is right about everything on wheels, because that does have wheels on it, and he was not lying. He got her a deal, and he's still covering her right now for her future events. So literally anything y'all need, he'll get you covered.
I mean,
Greg, what it do, baby?
Yeah, shout out to Greg and his team over there. And then one time for our friends over at the Dykesburg and
go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Lewis Law Group. If you are dealing with a property claim issue, you're fighting with your insurance company, water damage, leak damage, a storm hole, sinkhole, whatever it might be, go give our friends over the Dykesburg and Lewis Law Group a call at 855-652-1377. That's Dykes, Burke, and Lewis at dykesburklaw.com, 855-652-1377. Get the attorneys that used to represent the insurance companies on your side. So again, Dykesburg and Lewis Law Group, 855-652-1377. Quick couple of announcements here. One, if you follow recruiting, the Gators the number one player on their board is going to be announcing where he's going on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. at Cardinal Mooney High School. David Davidson, ranked the number 11 player in the country. It's worth watching that announcement. Gymnastics is heading to the NCAA championships after a big couple of days over in Tempe, Arizona. Good Lord, Tempe, Arizona. Yeah. Sorry. Georgia also advanced, but they had number 3 team in the country, Sky Blakely, with a perfect 10 on even bars. And so they will move on to Fort Worth here soon. Baseball goes 1 for 3 last week. Nick, what do you got? Quickly.
Chop.
4-0 week to 1-3. They blew it. Bullpen blew it Tuesday night against JU at home. Bullpen blew it big time Saturday. Wasted an absolute gem. Thursday night, Liam Peterson wasn't very good. Saturday, Aiden King was phenomenal. It's crazy because as bad as the Gators have looked at times, they're tied for 4th in the SEC. But, like, major issues. Still can't field. The bullpen's hot and cold. You need to get better starts from Liam Peterson. Wouldn't be surprised if they make a change and throw Aiden King on Friday night this week against Georgia. Georgia, by the way, check the bats. Leading the country in home runs. Next closest team's like 28 behind them.
Well, so that's who we've got next. Bullpen struggling, Gator struggling, but still, like you said, Nick, still 4th in the SEC. Maybe this is just
the one thing to watch is injuries starting to pile up a little bit. Brendan Lawson was sick, missed 2 or 3 games. Jackson Barbary came out of the game Saturday, I think, holding his oblique. You've got Ricky Reith, who hasn't pitched in a while. Like the the bullpen is missing two big arms in Reith and Barberry. And then obviously anytime you take Brendan Lawson out of the lineup, it's going to be tough. So need to see when these guys get back healthy.
All right.
Yeah, man. So, Sully.
That's tough. Tough situation going on there for UF in baseball. And maybe this is just how it looks for now. Maybe NIL has changed some things, and maybe it's changed the attractiveness. Maybe it's just a down year. It's hard to consistently win with college players in any sport. But yeah, the Florida again struggling.
Got to gauge it, like
especially after a big weekend win over Arkansas the week before. Sorry, Corey.
You're good. I think people gauge it off of like expectations. Like fans are like educated enough to know like the roster. You know, is this a team talent wise that could possibly make a run when what they should be ranked? So I don't think this team is living up to the preseason expectations, and it's like multiple years in a row. That's all. Not sure exactly what it is, but something's not clicking.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years in a row, the regular season. Well, I mean, this year's early. I guess after this weekend, we're halfway through SEC play, actually. But 2 years ago with Cags and Wyatt in their junior years, it was like the worst regular season that Sully had ever had, and they end up in Omaha. Last year was a worse regular season than the one previous, and they get bounced in a regional, and they don't host a regional. So I will say the last 2 years are the first 2 years since 2013 that they haven't hosted a regional, at least. A lot of season left, but like Georgia's going to be really tough at Georgia this week. You go to FSU on Tuesday. Seem to have FSU's number, but you got to play at their place. The expectation is what it is because of what they've built. The game has changed with NIL and the transfer portal. You just got to adapt.
Do you think we don't have the talent right now? Because you keep saying like transfer portal and NIL. Like, do you think we?
Like Ethan Serwick, who transferred. He was a big transfer that we got in the portal from Ole Miss. He's starting to hit. Like, he had a great weekend against his old school, but he hadn't really done anything up until that. He had been struggling, to his numbers. The guys in the bullpen, like, you need Luke McNeely, who missed time early in the year. Ricky Reith has missed a bunch of time. They just keep having guys like little nagging injuries that are missing a week, 2 weeks. Cade Curlin's been out. The offense concerns me. Like, they're if I can pull it up, they're probably hitting like 260 as a team. They don't really have a ton of power. The pitching staff is so good. They're hitting 294 as a team. How
does that compare? Is that decent? I mean, I know batting averages have dropped in Major League Baseball over the last number of years, but
yeah, I'd have to go and look through the SEC to see it. They had a good hitting week. That 275 number in SEC play went up after this weekend. They've got enough pitching when everyone's healthy that it's okay that their offense isn't crazy. But like 40 home runs, I think Georgia's got more than double that. Obviously they lead the whole country. But yeah, I think Florida is like middle of the pack offensively, if not like lower middle of the pack, lower tier in the SEC. It's just not, it hasn't been a good offensive team.
Okay. Well, this team seems to go hot and cold, win games that they maybe shouldn't, lose games maybe that they shouldn't. And we have, about another month or so left of the season?
More than that.
Then we get into postseason, because postseason is predominantly in
six
June.
more. Yeah, it's 6 more weekends. So you play 10 SEC weekends, so you have 6 more, including this weekend, and then the SEC tournament.
Okay.
which is a new format. Every team gets in, it's single elimination all the way through.
Oh, this is the first year they're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Jeremy's right. Brendan Lawson is elite. He's going to be a top 5 pick next year. He's incredible.
Before we get Drew Hughes in, just from a recruiting perspective, and maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll do a bigger recruiting show just to kind of go over who the names are to follow as recruiting does start to pick up in the months of May, June, July, and August before it goes a little quieter as the season started, kind of an inverse calendar of the way it used to be. The Gators are the new leader on the recruiting prediction machine for Amari Fountain from South Carolina, 6'3", 182 pounds, widely regarded as one of the top cornerbacks in the country. So that could be some good news for the Gators. The Gators are the leaders for Christian Hanshaw, the tight end, 6'5", 230 pounds. He is out of American Fork, Utah. And then Gators are in second place for Zamar Tukas. They are still in the lead for Amari Patterson. They are in the lead for David Davidson. So just some names to be looking out for. Malik Lee, the Gators are now the new leader for. So ultimately, it does seem like the Gators are sitting in pretty good position as they head into the next couple of weeks and couple of months, with Maxwell Hiller being the guy that a lot of fans are super excited about as well. So some point, Corey and I were talking about it the other day, at some point in the next month we'll do a real breakdown of what the recruiting class looks like and what are the names that you need to know before we head into the real off season where content gets a little bit drier until we get into to spring practice. Pardon me, until summer practice and in the fall. So with that, guys, any quick topics for the next 2 minutes that you guys want to discuss? I guess we can talk. We'll talk a little bit about the scrimmage after.
We can talk just Trump's executive order stuff if y'all want to talk a little bit of that.
Yeah, let's get that.
No, like it's a college football one, Jordan. It's not the war or anything crazy. It's not politics. He did one for the transfer report and whatnot. You muted, bro.
Sorry about that, but that was even crazy. We got all this war going on, and you over here fixing rules about NCAA. Let's talk about that, okay?
Oh man, Big T wilding right these days, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
It don't make no sense.
What are your thoughts?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about that. On Friday, Donald Trump signed an executive order to limit how long athletes can play college sports and how often they can transfer between schools. It directs the NCAA to create rules that mandate college athletes can play for no longer than a 5-year period. That allows them to transfer schools only once before they graduate without having to sit out a season. It's similar to the way that it was before, but you do get a free transfer. The rule change is scheduled to go into effect August 1st. A school that plays an athlete who does not meet the new limits could risk losing federal funding. And then it also states that the NCAA should update its rules to create a national registry for player agents and create policies that prevent schools from cutting scholarships or other opportunities for women's and Olympic sports. Drew is waiting. So do we want to just put a brief let's get your thoughts in order on that? But I saw Jordan's face too when you mentioned Trump's executive order. You're like, where are we going with this? Jordan, we're going to talk about action at the Strait of Hormuz right after Drew Hughes. So get your thoughts ready. Before we welcome Drew,
man, gas price is crazy. Free to straight, man.
Before we bring Drew on, I do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. If you want a cool cup like this one, the one Jordan has, Corey, Nick has, go visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code Stadium15 to get 15% off of your order. It's going to keep your hot drinks hot and your cold drinks cold. Go visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code Stadium15, and you'll get 15% off of your order. And
I'm going to say, listen, we got a couple more hours, Dan. Still national champions.
That's right. We are still national champions. We will talk about Micah. We'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. But with that, we do welcome Drew Hughes, who is the director of high school personnel for the Florida Gators football program, a familiar face in Gainesville. He was the director of player personnel for Florida from 2014 to 2017. After that, he had stops in South Carolina, Tennessee, NC State, UCF, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Senior Bowl, returning to UF just a few months ago. Drew, welcome to Stadium and Gale. We
can't hear you.
Muted.
No.
I like that hoodie, Drew. Big drip right there, bro.
Yeah, that's big drip. That's official right there.
He's
I
telling
like
me
that.
Called.
Like how you got that staggered to the little left there on that Jordan.
Yeah, Nick, can you troubleshoot with him real quick? Cool. Awesome. Jordan, Corey, let's we'll talk a little bit while Nick troubleshoots with Drew here. Thoughts on the executive order?
You want to go first, Corey, or what?
No, I'll let you get a shot at it first. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this with one of my boys who obviously played college.
All right, I'm gonna X out now.
We were trying to figure out what's the median, right? Because I agree.
Hold on 1 second, Jordan. Hey, Drew, we got you when you just started talking again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I just had the wrong button click. Sorry, guys.
We just needed Nick to leave, man.
He said, "I'm getting old, man."
I was gonna make a joke about the glasses. You were getting old, but now we've
I
got
can't
just
see nothing if I don't have these on now.
We got computer problems now. My goodness, Get IT.
I tell you what, you talk about feeling old. I get back in the building and I go in the staff room and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's Quincy Wilson over there coaching. There's David Reese over there coaching. You're sitting in a room talking about recruits, and you got guys that you recruited 10 years ago that are coming up to you. Hey, Drew, we got to take this guy. He can play. Like, man.
Where is your old office now?
Corey and Dan, good to see you guys again. I've
Likewise,
seen Nick
man.
at practice, and then my man Jordan Scarlett, 25 over there. Good to see you again,
Drew,
brother.
what it do, man? Good to see you, brother.
Drew, where is your old office and what is it now?
Well, the old office was over in the stadium.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a lot different setup, and none of this was here when I was here last time. So, I'm back here in what we call the trenches, or the back half of the building, the personnel side, back here in the corner with Chris Prescott, our DPP, and Joe Hamilton, and Lamar Sorey, Nick McDonald. Got a really good staff, and we're all back here with the students still working. So it's good to be back, man. Nice building they got here now. It was the old baseball arena.
Right. Yeah, they got pretty nice. Drew,
man, you've got a fantastic story. I know that a lot of people are very familiar when you worked at UF and when you guys were able to get 3 top 12 recruiting classes in a row. You throw Kadarius Toney in there. You throw a bunch of names from Alabama in there. Talk to us a little bit about what you've been up to since then and how those roads led you back to Gainesville from 2018.
Yeah. Had a great experience here. My wife, Rebecca, and I, she was working at UF Shands, finishing up some of her graduate stuff. And, she was working there and really got to know a bunch of people in the area. And we really enjoyed our time here. And then, kind of made the decision and floated around some of the competitors in the SEC, which now being back here, is good. It's an advantage because you see how things are perceived from that side, which is, been a benefit. Got back with Muschamp at South Carolina. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. And from there, had the opportunity to go to Jacksonville Jaguars, which for me was really different because I'd been in the college game pretty much my entire career since Alabama when I was a student. And really learned a lot in Jacksonville. Was there for Coach Meyer's first year and Doug Peterson's next 2 years. And got to see really the business side, how things are structured from an NFL personnel front office, which is pretty much what everybody's doing now. Got to work on the college side and the pro side, which was big. Seeing, how contracts are done, which I still got a lot to learn there. But, we got people in the building that handle that here with Dave Caldwell and Nick Polk and Ben as well. But it was just a tremendous growth experience, and then from there went to the Senior Bowl for 2 years. And that was really good too, because you're looking at it through a different lens. You're building rosters at the Senior Bowl. It doesn't matter who wins the game. You're just trying to put the best rosters together, for all the 32 NFL teams to get in there and get their evaluations, get questions answered, but really missed the competitive part of it. Florida had always been really a special place. And, through the channels, got in contact with Dave Caldwell and came over and interviewed, and it went really well. And, really when I met with Coach Summerall, that was what really pushed it over the edge. Just authentic, genuine juice, nothing fake about him. Really enjoyed talking with him, and things just kind of took off from there. And here I am.
What do you think, especially getting that? Florida, there's a true NFL system now where you've got your personnel with Dave and you guys, and you've got the coaches. Like, if I'm a player and I go to John Summerall and be like, hey, I think I should be making more. He's like, get out of my office. You're in the wrong one. It's a true NFL style. How did being with the Jags maybe kind of prepare you for that? And then maybe also having to deal with agents when you're at the Senior Bowl and all of a sudden an agent's like, hey, I know I told you my kid's coming, but we're not coming this week, and kind of having to deal with that different side of it.
Yeah, obviously a lot's changed since the last time I was here at Florida. And, lucky for us, we've got a great staff. Coach Summerall and Dave Caldwell have put together a great staff, and there's a lot of people that complement each other based on their experiences. So what I don't know, someone else in the building does know, and we learn from each other. But really, dealing with agents and all that, I don't do too much of that on this side. Obviously the high school personnel, the kids do have agents now, but it all goes back to being authentic, being transparent, doing what you say you're going to do. I think that goes a long way, in the communication between when you're trying to acquire a player, whether it's the NFL or here in college. So, just really for me, it's sitting back and watching the people that are far more expertise in that area, learning what I can from them and helping where I can. But at the end of the day, it comes all the way down to being authentic, being transparent, and you do what you say you're going to do. And even if you don't get that player, I'm a firm believer that the agent or the people involved with the player are going to appreciate the fact that, hey, at least when we're dealing with people at Florida, they're upfront, they're honest, and they do what they say they're going to do.
Do you think that authenticity was able to get you a big flip of Jordan Scarlett from FAU?
Jordan was great. Tim Skipper, I think he was still coaching the running backs, wasn't he, Jordan? So you had Skip was coaching the running backs before he made the flip over to linebacker. When you work with a guy like Tim Skipper, he's a great recruiter. He does a great job anyway. But Jordan was really it was an enjoyment to recruit him. He seemed like I don't want to speak for him, but it seems like once we got him on campus, he got around the new staff. We got a certain amount of players involved that were already committed, or a guy like Martez Ivy or CeCe Jefferson in that class that maybe he had already known through the recruiting circles. He was pretty good, man. I remember having one conversation. I think I was actually filling in out on the road, and Jordan called me up and was asking who he could help recruit. So for me, he was easy. He was great.
Jordan didn't tell us that story. Drew, I want to go back elementary here. There's a lot of diehard fans here. We got a lot of casual fans here. What is your job exactly to do?
So the way that we have it structured here, we've got Dave Caldwell and Nick Polk are the general manager and the assistant general manager. And they deal with a variety of things, a lot of things I don't have to deal with. And quite honestly, I'm thankful for it because they're far more qualified in that area. Then we have Chris Prescott, who's our director of player personnel, and he oversees the high school personnel side and the college personnel side. And then underneath that, you've got Drew Racina, who handles the college personnel side. So he's heavy portal, heavy roster acquisition, at the collegiate level, essentially what would be your pro scouting department in the NFL. And then you've got myself on the high school personnel side. That's basically the equivalent of the college scouting in the NFL. and we all work together. But, I'm more focused on high school and acquiring the players out of high school, retaining them, keeping them, things of that nature. And then we've got a great staff that works with us, whether it's Joe Hamilton or Cody Collins, Nick McDonald, Lamar Sorey, they all do a fantastic job, not even to get touching on the on-campus staff with Katie and Skylar and all the people. So it takes a village, but it's nice having that NFL-type structure. Not all things in the NFL transfer over to here, particularly from a recruitment side, but at least from an evaluation side and from a organizational side, it's been really good so far.
So
how much easier?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let me take off. Yeah, I was just saying, Drew, I would say, from your perspective, how do you feel like, how do you approach, the high school aspect of it? Is it more of like you want some ready to play now guys, or is it more of like I want some guys who are committed to the logo and the program? Because as you know, with how crazy things go now, you can get a high school guy and he may not even play on your team, and he may ever end up transferring and going somewhere else. So just want to know what are some traits you look for in a high school candidate, and just kind of what you're looking for in them.
Yeah, so we scour lists. We use all the services that are available to us. You got to have a starting point somewhere. It's just like in the NFL. They've got NFS or Blesto, and they're essentially setting the table for you, laying the food out, and you got to decide, what you want to eat. But, for us, we look – the competitive edge is going to be huge with us, and you really can't do that until you get face-to-face with the player. Like, obviously, the tape's got to be good. They've got to hit a variety of critical factors at each position. You got to see play speed, because a guy can run fast, but he may not play fast with pads on. Right. You got to think about contact speed. Is the guy running through guys, or is he wincing on contact? So you can kind of measure some of that stuff out on the tape. But the big part of it is getting in front of them, getting them on your turf, getting them here on campus to see what all the University of Florida has. The place sells itself when you get here. You walk around this facility, you go in the swamp. But even more important is getting on their turf. And we've got a great staff of guys that really relate well to high school coaches on the high school level, starting with the head man, Coach Summerall. Mm-hmm. And they've done this before, regardless of what level. You go out on the road and you're recruiting a Jordan Scarlett at a St. Thomas Aquinas High School. I like to go to at least 3 or 4 places when I'm down in Fort Lauderdale to ask the opposing coaches how Jordan was against them. And typically you're going to get feedback on this guy was hell to deal with, man. I'm glad this guy's graduating and getting out of there. That's what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. What scares you is when they're not scared of the said player you're asking about. So there's a lot of stuff into that. And you go into a high school, man, and you can find out a lot about a kid by talking to people around the school, not just the coach, but his teachers, the lady at the front desk, the security guard. You can find out a lot about a guy. Is he showing up late? Does he act right? What is he doing? So it's really, doing your homework on that end. And I think then that you marry that with the tape, you marry that with the interactions that you have when the guy gets on campus. And then importantly, you see how he reacts to the players that are already on the team. Because you get guys on your team and they get invested in the recruiting process. Hell, in 2016 and 17, I could call these guys into the office and say, what do you think of this guy? I don't know, Drew. He ain't wired the right way. Well, I would take that into heavy consideration. Or you go, if it's a running back, and I ask Jordan, hey, man, what do you think of this guy? Oh, he's one of us. He's going to be all right. You think about guys that came in after you, I think like P. Ryan and those guys. Mm-hmm, you were involved in the recruiting process. Mm-hmm, so you create this buy-in throughout the building, particularly with your players, and it can be a real powerful thing if you get it driven the right way.
Let me ask you this, Drew. You guys did a great job with last time you were here, with just identifying and finding gems, like guys that were under the radar, I would say, from LaMicah P. Ryan, Kadarius Toney, even Kyle Trask, right? You guys found, like, what's that process like for you guys? Like, how do you find those type of guys and then trust your evals over like the popular ranking services and whatnot around the country?
Yeah, Corey, that's a great question. You got to, I know it's a cliche term, but you got to trust the process that you have in place. And in the case of those guys, and there's many others, first off, it was a team effort. There was a lot of people involved in a lot of different players. Like I remember when we watched Kyle Pitts the first time, he was playing tight end, but he was playing a lot of D end too. And a lot of these guys came down to Florida and worked out for our staff in person. And I know that sometimes can be associated negatively when a kid hears, well, we need to see you come work out in camp. But to a lot of those guys' credit, and the game has changed a little bit, but competitive nature hasn't, right? So if you're willing to bet on yourself and go into a competitive atmosphere and work out for a coaching staff, ideally when there's other good players there, that says a lot about you. And if your talent is what you think it is, it's going to show out for itself. But in all those cases of all those guys, there were critical live evaluations that happened, whether it was in the spring, whether it was in the fall, or whether they came on camp. Kyle Trask came here and threw 3 times. I mean, there were other quarterbacks in that class that came and threw the same day he did, and he stood back there and watched those guys throw and then stepped up to the plate and swung his bat. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. And I firmly believe that when you're wired the right way, things just tend to take care of itself. Wired in the right way, at least from a football standpoint, that is.
What does an on-campus eval look like? Is it you're usually looking holistically at the whole player, or is it usually, hey, I really want to see how they work, with picking up plays, if we draw them a route and how they run the route tree? What does that look like? Obviously, it's going to depend on each person, but what ultimately are you looking for?
Right, and it obviously depends on what time of year it is, because what we're doing right now is these guys are basically just allowed to come in here and they get to see the practice. They can sit in meetings, et cetera, et cetera. But, you're looking at body language. Like our coaches are obviously coaching up our players. They're getting them ready for the practice with the spring practices that are going on now. But, there's enough coaches around in the building that there's guys that are watching. Does this guy come in here as a high school kid and take notes in a position meeting? That's pretty impressive. And then you ask to see the notes. Hey, is there any questions, anything that you didn't pick up on? Do they follow their position group around during the practice in the areas they're allowed to go? So there's little things that you can see that are non-athletic, so to speak, that kind of give you a cue into how they're wired. Obviously, during the summer, they're coming in to work out, so we're going to put them through something very similar than what our players are going through. And you want to create those good-on-good situations. So if you're recruiting a corner from one school and you got a receiver from the other school, you want to make sure that you're seeing those guys compete against each other. And then in the fall, you get the opportunity to go see them play on their plays. So there'll be a certain group of guys that, whether it's committed or uncommitted, that you want to go see play, particularly against good competition. Like I remember Jawan Taylor from Cocoa was 378 pounds when he came to the first camp. All right. And it wasn't pretty. And then the coaches told him, hey, work on your conditioning and come back for Friday Night Lights. He came back Friday Night Lights. He had lost 25 or 30 pounds. He's moving around a lot better. Guy's committed to Miami at the time. Then we tell him, look, we're going to come see you in the fall. And that's pretty much going to be the tell-all for us. Well, Chris Rump and Kerry Dixon, the coaches at the time, went down, and Coco was playing at IMG. IMG's obviously loaded. Well, Jawan Taylor was one of the best players on the field that day. He was playing at about 330 pounds. And for him, he got that weight down, and the weight never came back on. So it was impressive, to see, him do that.
What do you think your guys, in terms of OVs, the last coaching staff didn't like fall OVs. Obviously, kids like them, players like them because you get to come see an LSU at Florida, but it's, I think, harder. There's less FaceTime one-on-one time with guys. What do you guys, as a staff, when do you want OVs, or how do you want to structure visits throughout the year?
Well, Katie Decker and Skylar Wise do a fantastic job of setting that stuff up. I think the main thing is just getting the timing of it, getting involved with the players, whether it's January really until now, to get those visits set up during the summer, because the weekends are the weekend. So you're vying against all your competition to be able to vie for a spot to get those guys in here. So just really being aggressive, getting the evaluation part of it kind of cleaned up as quickly as possible, and getting those guys set up to where, you got a spot and you got a spot to bring them in, and you'll have an opportunity, to host them on an official visit weekend. But really it's more of, you got to manage your numbers. You don't want to have too many people here. don't have too many people at the same position, but they do a great job of managing that and kind of keeping us all in line on that. But I would say the main thing that's really changed is just being aggressive and being able to get those guys locked into a date in the summer so you can structure your board and have your strategy the right way from that standpoint.
I've got one. This will probably be my final question. What does it look like when you guys are creating your boards, right? You're going to list all of the players that you want in the order that you want. And obviously the coaches and, head coaches and assistant coaches probably can have differing opinions sometimes. And then we can throw folks like you in there. You're watching a lot of tape and you're going to have an opinion too. How contentious do some of those hot board meetings become? And ultimately, how do you guys work through that together?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's all about collaboration. I mean, it's got to start kind of in the recruiting department because we're kind of like the funnel. Mm-hmm. So you're getting a bunch of names sent to you. You're scouring lists. You're checking with all the different services that you have. A lot of the time, some of the best intel that you get comes from a text or a phone call from a high school coach or a former player or really anybody of that nature, and they really get dumped into this funnel. And then we've got a very detailed process where it gets escalated up. And it's kind of like a parallel process where you have the personnel side and the coaching side, and it's getting elevated up at the same time. And it kind of just filters itself out to where the players that meet a certain threshold get evaluated, and you kind of stack the board that way. But a lot of collaboration, a lot of legwork on the front end by the recruiting staff. And having the coaches involved. My light's turning off.
You got to move.
Got to move.
Do you have a story? Is there ever a player in your career where you had to beat the table for that kind of worked out? I know you guys all probably work collaboratively, but somebody found, I think someone told me Randy Shannon was the one that initially found Kyle Trask. Is there a player that you think hey, I maybe had to force him on someone we didn't know who he was that kind of worked out?
Well, Kyle's a good example because, Randy Shannon actually was down there watching another player. I can't remember who it was, but I mean, the guy wasn't starting on his team, but Randy noticed the arm, and Randy's been around some of the best evaluators in the business.
Wasn't it Derek King?
Derek King was
yeah.
Right. Well, no,
Yeah.
He's saying they were watching another kid, not Derek.
He was there watching the defensive guy. Derek King's the starting quarterback. Kyle's the backup quarterback. So it was a hard sell. But Randy came back and pounded the table. So it wasn't me personally. But I mean, the guy came and threw 3 times until I think after the third one was when he got offered. And I can't remember when he committed. But I mean, there's several, and it's not just me. I mean, there's a bunch of people that are convicted and they stand on the table. And I mean, Jordan was pretty easy. He was playing at a big high school program and, had everybody in the country and things of that nature. But I don't know. One that I don't think the talent was an issue to pound the table for. But, I mean, Kadarius was playing quarterback his entire high school career. So, you got a guy that's never really ran routes, but you see him on all the QB run games, stop, start, change direction. He comes and works out. He throws and works out at receiver to his credit. But that one took some convincing for sure. Another one I think would be Jabari Zuniga. He was a guy that put on a lot of weight, I think, from the junior year to his senior year. And, he had a really good senior year. You saw twitch and get off and motor. And, you wound up seeing that here at Florida, at different points. But, I mean, there's a bunch of guys. But conviction is very powerful in the scouting evaluation business. When you do your work, and you really put in the time and you not just on the tape, but, you're getting to know the people around the player and all the context around him. And is he a dual sport athlete? Does he wrestle? Does he run track? You really do your work. The conviction kind of takes care of itself. And we got a good group here, great group of coaches. Coach Summerall, he's convicted. He does his homework. He's not just skimming through tape, man. That guy has watched as many guys as any of us. So it's fun working for a guy like that. And then on the personnel side, you've got a combination of NFL and college experience that's working together too. But conviction's a big part of it, man. You got to be convicted. People can hear it in your voice. And if you do your work, then it usually works itself out.
During the fall season, as like the season's unfolding, because most of these guys are going to commit over the summer. That's just been the way college football is kind of trending. As the season play out, are you communicating with whoever is running the transfer portal in that market, that part of the regime, I would say? Are you guys having an ongoing communication about the numbers you may be pulling in from the high school ranks and where they may have to fill some holes at from the transfer portal?
Right. That's a great question. You look at it, it's almost like the reverse of the NFL. In the NFL, you got free agency and then you got the draft. All right. For us, you sign the high school kids, and at the same time, the college personnel staff's looking at what the high school commitments look like, where there's any gaps, and that helps them forecast the portal. Now, the process that they have to do that is similar but different in that they may evaluate a ton of guys and they may not even get into the portal, but they have to be prepared for the minute that they do. But there's absolute high level of communication going on. We're all back here together. The college staff is very familiar with what high school guys we have committed, who we could get, and that kind of sets the table to fill in with hopefully elite portal players. And that part of it is different from when I was here the first time. So Chris Prescott and Drew Hughes and those guys, they do a phenomenal job managing that. And this will be the first time for me to actually go through that this year, being back in college. So I'm looking forward to it. But to answer your question, yeah, absolutely. It's setting the table. They know about all the high school kids. They know where we may be deficient, where we may miss out on guys, and they're planning ahead looking at what we're going to do in the portal to supplement the roster.
How much has that changed in college for you guys now when you're looking at, hey, what we have, who we think might go in the portal? How much of it is we've been recruiting this guy, but we might need someone who can play now? This might be a position we have to go to the portal for. And do you worry about, hey, if we're going to the portal for, let's say, a tight end, is that going to affect high school recruiting? How do you manage building a board and recruiting high school kids with this portal era?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is knowing what the market is going to be for a high school kid at a position relative to what a portal guy is going to be at a position. So you know that certain positions in the portal, guys that have already played, once they get into the portal, there's going to be a pretty high market for them. But on the high school side, it may not be as high because they hadn't played at this level yet. So I think it's just kind of a puzzle that you're putting together and you're constantly looking at in regards to, where's our best bet to hit on the high school positions, see how that plays out, and then supplement it with the portal landscape because, those guys are getting in the portal and that thing's happening fast. So, getting ahead and trying to be prepared, at least with the film and the evaluation side of it, they do a great job of that here.
Any other questions, guys?
Nah, man. Welcome back, Drew.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. Man. Absolutely. I gave Nick a hard time because Cole Hurd, our chief of staff, came back here and I said, Nick hit me up about getting on that podcast. And he's like, yeah, I know. It's because I can't do it. So it's good to know that, Nick, I was the second option there, boss.
Well, no, I'll be honest with you. In the text message, he put your name first and then put or Cole Hurd. Yeah, so you were actually option one. I don't know in which direction, but I said, yeah, either one would be great.
So that gives me plenty of ammunition to get after Cole tomorrow.
No, don't tell him that because Cole texted me congratulations on the birth of my daughter before Drew did, despite knowing Drew for over a decade.
This is true.
You did not.
And if we're gonna be completely honest,
Nick Petty, man.
I believe I texted Nick on the congratulations on the birth of your son. So I didn't even have it right. I was late and I didn't have it right.
Luckily, I am exhausted. Didn't even clock to me. So
hey, I got three. I got a 7, 5, and 4-year-old.
Ooh.
So I hear you on the God bless your wife, man. That's all.
Could have been if you didn't have the word "and" in there.
Last question.
7, 5, 4-year-old.
Last question. Masters Week. Who are you picking to win the best tournament in the world?
Oh, I'm terrible at this. And I went to the Players. A couple of weeks ago. The family's still over in St. Augustine, so we were lucky enough to get to go on Sunday. And I was actually right there on the island green, right on the side when who was it that won it? I can't even remember.
Cam Smith win?
Cam Smith, yeah, when he made the putt on 17 to tie it, to go into 18,
yeah,
I was like right there. But the problem is everybody knew it was just down to those two. So everybody was moving to 18, and I got stuck in the masses there. But I'm going to go with Xander Schauffele.
Okay, it's a lively pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Schauffele. He's going to be my favorite. I like Scotty Scheffler, but who knows? I don't follow enough to be an expert. But I like what I saw out of Schauffele here recently. So
it's a hot pick. It's a hot pick, Drew.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are picking against Scheffler this year. So that's a hot
Tiger
name
not
out
there.
there.
No Tiger.
No, I think Tiger's got a couple things that he's working on right now.
Yeah.
Leave Tiger alone, man.
I think Tiger's on
step
Tiger,
one.
Man. The roads in Augusta are safer without him there. So, Drew, we appreciate you for coming on, my friend. I hope you guys have a great week. I think that you will, and we'll talk with you soon.
All right, Dan, Corey, Jordan, Nick, I'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate you guys having me on. Go Gators.
Go Gators,
Drew, man. Keep
going.
All right,
guys.
Drew Hughes, we appreciate his time. When we appreciate this top 5 interview in S&G history, maybe a top 3.
We getting that every week now, so I guess we just really been hooping lately.
We've been hooping. We've been popping right now. What you talking about?
We're hooping and we're sledding right into our next interview with former Florida Gator great special teams player and bobsled extraordinaire Johnny Townsend.
Johnny Townsend in the
Hey, are we live in this thing? Are we live?
We're live, brother.
We're gonna take this from a top 5 to a top 3 of all time. So let's get
there. You go.
Let's go.
That's what I like. Yeah.
Johnny, what's going on? Tell us about your venture into bobsledding. Talk to us a little bit of how you did that, and just talk to us a little bit about. I mean, I don't know anything about bobsledding. How you even get into it?
Yeah, let's catch up.
Man, I was hit,
guys. Yeah,
I hit up Johnny one random day. I was just like, "Hey, man, waiting on an email." Johnny said, "Hey, I'm at bobsled practice." I'm like, "Bobsled practice? Like, how do you even sign up for that?"
So many people that show up to bobsled camp. It's crazy. They have a formal recruiting pipeline now from the NFL to Team USA, and they're looking for guys that have linear speed, linear strength, and guys that are also in a vulnerable position trying to transition out of sports and looking to do anything they possibly can. And so they have a lot of success getting former NFL guys up there.
What's the chance that they take a yoga guy from Tampa?
Pretty low? Wait. Don't undersell yourself. One-time safety intramural flag football champion?
No, not one time. I played all 4 years. I just happened to retire the day that I had 2 interceptions. Yeah, I was once Reggie Nelson left to the NFL. I was maybe the best safety at UF.
Okay, that's real.
Now they preach all the physics. They'll say once speed meets mass and the sled gets acceleration. I mean, you got the mass, it looks like.
Easy. Man.
So we can get the sled
Stadium and Gale history.
Man. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it was a fun little side venture. I was just out in Milan for the Olympics for about 2 weeks, just supporting the team. And I didn't make the actual Olympic roster, but got to compete with Team USA for the last 2 years, which was a pretty cool experience. But turning that page in life, moving on. So,
man, that's got to be a cool experience, man.
How was Milan?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. I was at Paris 2 years ago, and
very good.
Everyone in the world was there. It was pretty special.
Well, Johnny, we brought you on. We'll chum it up a little bit, but I don't want to get too far gone before we talk a little bit about what you're doing this weekend. Obviously, the Orange and Blue debut is this weekend, this upcoming Saturday, and you're putting on a big special event. And I know Jordan's going to be able to make it out there on behalf of Stadium and Gale, and being a former player, of course. But, the bylines change when you're right underneath me on the screen. Talk to us a little bit about what you're doing. I know you've done this for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all giving me the platform to talk about it. I mean, it's pretty cool that we're even all here together. I've known you guys for forever. And this event has grown, I think with our relationship too over time, just, how it's gotten so big. And one unique thing about it is we're doing two really main things. We're supporting Gator athletics and we're supporting UF Health. Well, when I was a student athlete at University of Florida, they had a program where they would just take you out into the community and you'd build houses, which we were never qualified for, and we'd visit kids at the hospitals. And there's one program that stuck. It was going to see pediatric cancer patients at UF Health, and realized that as an athlete, you have also almost an obligation to use your platform for good and launch the charity. And here we are 5 years into the spring game tailgate, and we got official university backing, which is neat. We're right on the north lawn of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the whole right side of Gator Walk if you're facing university, and we got it tented off with open bars, all you can eat barbecue, live DJ. And last year, as the official Gator football alumni event, man, we had over 130 former Gators from every generation, Spurrier all the way up until the recents. And this year will be unique because it's the first time we actually have a sitting head coach that's going to attend the event the day of his debut. Coach Summerall is going to come by right after Gator Walk and spend 20-30 minutes taking photos of the Swamp alumni and talking to the attendees and having some fun. So happy to have them.
So it's on the North Lawn, you said, and this is an event that anybody can buy a ticket for?
Yeah, anyone can go to it. So, we've got strategic about how we marketed the event to the general public. They're going to get to meet, greet, hang out with, all these Gator legends. And, if anyone's interested in attending, JohnnyTownsendFoundation.com, hit the events tab and you'll see opportunities to donate because 100% of the proceeds go to UF Health to get a ticket to attend. And we've done a good job of integrating all of the Gainesville staples, so to speak. And the UF bookstore is going to be there with their screen printer, making custom jerseys. So, you can put anything you want on the back of a jersey, which is why I don't trust you guys being there because who knows what the hell you put on there.
I mean, it would take a little bit of an arch, but punters are people too would be right there for me.
Yeah, it sure would. But yeah, it'll be a special event. So see y'all this Saturday if you can make it up. We'll be on the whole north lawn of the stadium from 9 to noon. Go to JohnnyTownsendFoundation.com for more info. See you there.
All right, Johnny, can we talk some football business?
Let's do it, man. I was just up in Gainesville Saturday watching the guys scrimmage.
I thought I saw you there. Look at Johnny scouting.
Doing a little scouting. I tell you what, the team looks really good. Top to bottom, had some chances to, get to know the staff and talk with them privately. And I'm excited about the trajectory of the program. It's a different feel than when Napier came in, and it was. I don't know if it was because of who we transitioned out of, coming off of Coach Mullen and that staff. But man, I tell you what, the vibes are high in Gainesville, and the team loves the coaching staff.
How do you feel about how did you feel about the coaching staff to you've been through the same situation and you've been there before, you've been through a couple of coaching changes and all that, just knowing what you've been through, how has it felt just seeing Summerall in it now with the players that they got? Do you feel like it's something that's doing good?
Oh yeah, he's put emphasis on winning now. It's gonna be interesting to see when all the smoke clears, and there's always kind of a 6-month period where the new coach comes in and it's rah and saying all the right things. And so are they going to show it? First off, who knows? I mean, when it comes to the spring game, there's still a question mark at quarterback. I think it's starting to clear up a little bit. And then look at all the pieces that we lost this past year. I mean, on the front, offensive line was a big thing for us. And but I think skill wise, we're going to be rock solid. We got some ballers. Now we just got to see how these specialists turn out too, don't we? But I'm feeling good about the team.
Sorry, I was going through your slide deck, Johnny, and a video started auto playing, so my bad.
Oh, was it spring game tailgate stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And got distracted. Shiny object. He started following.
But yeah, what do you guys think about the team? I mean, aside from what we have to play against to actually win games, I know people always throw out these projections for win-loss records. It's just because the league is so tough, but. Being a good team year one, I think we can be that.
Yeah, I think we've talked about, at least my opinion, and we've talked a lot about how we feel like we have people in the right positions. I think that there's still question marks, as you're going to have, right? Nick has been out to practice. I know, Jordan, you were talking about going, and Tommy or Johnny, obviously you've been out there. Johnny, I know you've been out there, and a lot of the reports have all come back that the team looks pretty good. I think that with anything, you've got two relatively inexperienced quarterbacks that you want to see how they perform. You've got a bunch of new players on the offensive line. And ultimately, the team has 56 new players on it this year. So that's a lot of turnover. And how are they going to transfer? I think that there's a high expectation for the team. I think there's no reason for me to believe that this coaching staff isn't quality and can't get it done. But I just think that there's still some key question marks and some key important positions about what it looks like. But I think running back, wide receiver, defensive line, linebacker, I think you've got some great groups there, that'll hopefully carry the team forward.
Yeah, especially guys with a couple years left too. When I was up there on Saturday, the staff was, hammering home that they don't want to be a portal team. They don't want to have to go chase guys. They don't want to have to find puzzle pieces. They want to find guys they can build around. And so they're putting a lot more emphasis on the traditional high school recruiting cycle, guys that can come in, play 3-4 years, which is cool. Not many coaches and programs these days are emphasizing that, but they're slow playing it, finding the right guys, and they're making it known that their livelihood is relying on who they bring into this, room to play for them. So they're definitely doing their due diligence. In the front office, are you kidding me? Have you seen it's like an NFL executive front office with David Caldwell and all these guys running the show now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we got a favorable.
Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, I think we got a favorable schedule. Napier wasn't the greatest coach, but he also had the toughest schedule I've ever seen as a Gator fan. So I think we got a favorable schedule. I like that. And I think the overall mindset of the team switching is just going to do wonders, right? Like, this is a very calm team, very chill team. They took on the personality of Napier. Summerall's a rah-rah football guy, and the team seems to be taking on his personality. So I think we'll play with more urgency, and I think we'll be a meaner football team with a defensive head coach. Those teams you tend to be a little bit more I say personality-wise, just a meaner team. So we'll see how it all plays out. The team was talented with Napier. I think we still got talent. Gators always going to have talent. We're going to see how these guys coach it up.
I get like Muschamp vibes from him. It's probably the defensive from Summerall, the defensive head coach.
Yeah,
I said on the show 2 weeks ago, I think I won't be surprised if the camera pans to John at some point in the fall and he's bleeding because he headbutted somebody. And those are the kind of team, the locker rooms that you guys were in. Shout out to whoever your teammate was who leaked the boxing video. But that's the kind of mentality I think you get with Summerall and that defensive head coach that Corey was just speaking to.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that's kind of 2 out of the last 3 coaches changes they benefited off the last team's roster. I feel like Billy was kind of the one to get the short end of the stick, to where obviously Mullen wasn't doing a great job of recruiting. He was more of just trying to handle what was already on campus. But I think McElwain benefited a lot off Muschamp's roster. We made the 2 SEC championships, and you go look at Dan Mullen's resume, he had a pretty good winning record off of, I guess you could say, McElwain's class of guys. And I think it's just another case of that, to where Billy didn't know how to call plays and win games, but he knew how to recruit and find guys. So we managed to retain a lot of that roster, and hopefully can transition over into us having a good, fast start this year with a new coach.
What do you think of special teams, Johnny?
Yeah, we joke about it all the time, but it really is a big piece of the game.
And it's huge.
I've seen it
cost too many times.
I became the punting guy because of the season. You punted 86 times. I think you were supposed to redshirt that year too. Mm-hmm. But that team, there were so many of those teams. Sorry, Jordan. Jordan's teams that were offensively challenged, and it was 3 and out, 65-yard punt, and then Florida's defense would get a 3 and out, and you kind of just matriculated down the field in between 60-yard bombs from Johnny until you had a favorable offensive start on the other team's side.
It's pretty funny. One of the accolades that's tied to my resume from Florida is most punting yards in UF history, and it sounds good, but it's not a good thing. We punted more than any team in UF history is what it amounted to, and. But those guys will be interesting to see. I mean, Coach Galante, new special teams coach there. He's experienced and got familiarity with the staff, and he just brought guys he knew. I was looking high and low across the transfer portal to see who was available and who was becoming available to potentially come play for us on special teams. And I think that, don't want to say this offensively, but I think these guys are kind of Band-Aid options to, be familiar players to, help the staff get comfortable. And, it'll be interesting to see, how they settle in Gainesville.
Yeah.
We haven't had an American punter, I think, since your brother. Had a lot of Aussies since the Townsend brothers left Gainesville.
A lot of booming onions. That's it. I mean, that could have been a shirt that you had. There's just a lot. Yeah. I don't want to get in a legal battle with Outback over how close it is. But you can,
Local Gator fan podcast sued by chain fake Australian restaurant. That's the headline.
Oh, man. Johnny, what else you got going on, man? Anything else you want to plug?
Oh, really just a spring game tailgate. I think everybody that's watching this show will probably be in town in some capacity. So come see us. Again, it's this is year 5 doing it, and it's getting bigger and better every year. We're an official, university and Gator football recognized event, and come meet some legends. Here's my soundbite. Coach Summerall will be there to mingle and meet and greet. Your favorite Gators from the Spurrier era all the way up until today will be there. Heisman winners, Super Bowl champions, you name it, and it's all for a good cause benefiting UF Health. So come see us 9 to noon on Saturday, and go to JohnnyTownsendFoundation.com for more info.
Awesome. Well, Johnny, we appreciate it, man. Best of luck this weekend, and next year we'll be there.
Oh, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I'm just planning the event this week, and I put Tommy on a plane today, little brother. He's heading up to Nashville on his 2-year deal with the Titans. He's fired up.
Buddy, not many better places.
He sends his hellos. Yeah, I think last time we all got on, he popped in, yeah, he's going to have some fun up there.
That's going to be awesome, man. Well, congrats to him. Congrats to you, man. I just saw over $48,000 raised for pediatric oncology programs at UF in Shands last year. So that's awesome. I hope you guys beat that number again this year, man. And we're cheering you on. And I know Jordan said he's looking forward to making it up there. So
heck yeah. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Johnny.
All
right. See you, boys.
All right. 2 good interviews back to back. Let's get a quick ad read for our friends over at Alumni Hall. Go visit alumnihall.com or go visit them in Gainesville on Archer Road. The largest selection of Florida Gators apparel that you can get. So alumnihall.com or Alumni Hall in Gainesville right on Archer Road. And then one time for our friends over at Home Field Apparel, go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale. That's going to get you 20% off of your first order. Nick has the corduroy hat. Great t-shirts, great vintage logos. Where was I going?
This is good.
Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Go check out homefieldapparel.com. Promo code Stadium and Gale. My head is all over the place today. All right, Nick. Gators had practice and scrimmage last week. You were there. Give us a little bit of the breakdown about what you can.
Yeah, I think the Emmanuel, he told me he was in the office. He told me how to say his name. I can't remember. I'm tired. Emmanuel.
It's not the way. Yeah, it's not the way that I've been pronounced.
Yeah, his teammates have. No. His teammates call him E-Man.
Sure, they got a good nickname for him by now. Yeah,
just call him E-Man. Yeah, they just call him E-Man. He's looking really good. I was talking to Chapman about him. Someone who you can tell the way if a coach is really getting on a player. You can tell, like, all right, they're investing in that player. Like when I was playing at the college level, they're like, you know what? Let's just let him run out there, have fun, catch butterflies in the outfield.
I hope you guys can hear this, but this is how you pronounce it.
Nope. Terrible audio. Can't hear it.
Did not hear a peep. I ain't hear a rat.
Oye Badajo. Emmanuel Oye Badajo.
Take your word for it.
That's what he said. That's
okay.
What he said.
The way he was getting coached by Chapman, who already is a loud coach, I was like, all right, they think this guy can be a player. And the lights switched, I think, right when they came back from spring break, and it looks like he's starting to play. Things are slowing down. He's starting to play a little faster. He was a problem. The interior defensive line, I think, has played really, really well. Obviously, Jaden Woods is doing his thing. LJ McCray looks really good. So I think LJ McCray is playing defensive end, not Jack. So I think him and E-Man are really solid outside. I think the defense won the day. Ben Hanks, shout out to Overtown, Ben Hanks has had, I think, on defense, the most impressive.
Ben Hanks taught you that, bro? What do you know about overtime, bro?
I'm just a kid from Broward County. I'm a kid from Broward County, just tipping the cap to Overtown. That's all I'm doing.
Doing overtime, bro. What you down there buying, bro?
I went to Miami Central to interview Dalvin Cook. He was
shocked. There.
He was shocked.
Capping there.
I would not go.
I just gave it. I'm just giving Overtown their props.
Yeah.
One time.
Ben Hanks has had
one time.
As many times as they want. It doesn't have to be one. It can be 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Ben Hanks had an incredible camp. He had a pick Saturday. I think I've been really impressed with him, and somebody who really didn't play much last year, dealt with some injuries last year. Cormani continues to play better, and I think my overall impressions, like high level defense, both scrimmages has outplayed the offense. First scrimmage, I thought Tramel Jones was better. This past Saturday, I thought Aaron Philo was better. I still don't. I'll be shocked if we, Saturday night in the postgame press conference, they've named a starting quarterback.
You would or would not be surprised?
I would be surprised.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that it's not a bad thing necessarily at all. I just heard that there's just probably not a clear separation. Maybe one that they would like to have, one way or another, but that's my understanding as well.
And I'm pretty consistent about this. I would like you to have a quarterback named after spring, if not before spring, but have a quarterback named as early as possible. There's so much yes, the coaches can be involved more now than they were when Jordan was in college. You didn't see a coach, your position coach, you're gone. You're with your strength coach. Position coaches can be around more now, but there's a lot of player run stuff, and maybe it's right. Maybe I'm making too much of it. Hey, that's our quarterback. That's who our guy is. And the earlier you know it, the better. But I also don't want to just name one for the sake of naming one. And in my opinion, from what I've seen, I don't know what the guys are doing in the quarterback meeting rooms, what even the play design, the progressions are called. I'm just watching what I can see. I just don't think anyone is taking the job. No one's made that decision for the coach. And I think as a coach, a quarterback coach, you don't want to have to make the decision. You want a player to have made the decision for you. Hey, he's clearly won it.
Yeah, from what I'm, let me know if I'm wrong, but from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, some of my guys, I see Ryan in the comments, some guys that I know be at practice, they're pretty much production wise, nobody's really taking deep shots. Sparingly you'll hear one guy that may have had an explosive play, but I think that's been the case. They're playing it safe a little bit, playing within the system. You got some good receivers, but I think what's going to separate from the one from the other is going to be turnovers and explosive plays. But I think both guys, from what I hear, both of them struggle with different things progression wise, right? I was told that sometimes Tramel seems to be on the first read already got it pre-snap where he's going with the ball. And then I'm hearing that Philo struggles at the third read. Sometimes the interceptions that we may read about is on the third read. When he comes off his first and second, he's not making the best decision on the third read. So both guys have got their own struggles, but for the most part, I'm hearing good things, not bad things. So I think either way this goes, we're going to get a good quarterback. We'll see where that ceiling could take. I think we're going to have a high floor. I don't know what the ceiling going to be because I think both of those guys is just playing within the system to not make mistakes right now. It's still in the spring. They're going to take this battle all the way to fall camp, so it's not, not a lot of reasons to be urgent or trying to win the job right now. I think both guys are just trying to stay within it and keep it, keep the game in front of them a little bit.
Kind of the idea that it's better to not lose the job than it is to win the job right now.
Right.
Almost holding serve. But to what you're saying, Corey, in the scrimmage, Philo went threw into triple coverage to Bailey Stockton. So it's not even a throwing into double coverage because I got Dallas Wilson. He's going to jump over somebody. But it was kind of that. Looked right, looked under, oh, shoot, 1 wasn't open, 2 wasn't open, turn left, just get rid of the ball. And it's you didn't look to see that left's also covered. And you got a safety crashing down, the linebacker floating back, and the corner that's already, that's on him. So, yeah, there's been mistakes, there's been good plays, but there hasn't been anything where I'm like, oh, that's something that he's not going to fix and you're going to see. Like, there hasn't been a glaring blemish on either guy, but like, yeah, what you're hearing, like, I haven't seen any like huge take the top off, big explosive plays.
How are we looking on the offensive line?
They're still trying to find still trying to find five.
Okay.
I think Najee Harris is someone who I would say he's left guard. That's pretty cemented. I think number 2 are at center. I think 52 Harrison Moore. I might be getting ahead of Jason Zandamela based on what I saw Saturday. So maybe you cement that in, but they wanted, I think, Caden Jones or Emeka Ugori to start at left tackle, and I don't think either of them are there now. I think they're on the right side now, looking at Egan Boyer maybe to start at left. They're still trying to find 5, and I think because of that, the defensive line is winning up front right now as you're trying to find 5 guys who can play next to each other, but you're continuing to move those 5 guys to different spots, which is tough. You also had some injuries, so yeah.
I will say though, just normally in practice though, D-line usually gets the better of the O-line, just naturally. They know them already. They know their weaknesses, and it just happens. I mean, you can argue that O-line is probably one of the hardest positions besides like quarterback and cornerback. So,
I mean, I think it really is, especially when you're like, if you're a left tackle, right tackle, and then you're switching to the other one. Now your whole kick step's different. And then you look up and it's Jaden Woods in front of you. And you're like, what are we doing? And Jaden Woods isn't in front of you. Jaden Woods is 6 yards off to the side. And you're like, all right, well, how far can I kick step just to try to stay in front of this kid? And then you switch to the left side and you have, Emmanuel who's 6'6", 275 in front of you. And you're like, all right, that's a whole different problem. Or an LJ McCray, it's a whole different problem. And it's just tough. The defensive line, in my opinion, my Division III baseball player opinion.
And even, I mean, if you look at the whole point of like practice is scripted, everybody's going in with certain looks we want to see and what we want to run stuff against and etc. So, not saying 9 times out of 10 ends up being in the defensive favor, but ain't no defensive coach going out there trying to get cooked. So if he got the script and he knows what's going on, he wants to call the right play and the perfect play to see how his defense plays to that. It's probably a defense to stop the offense, So that's another portion of why it always looks better on the defensive side of the ball. Nothing just shoot. I mean, it's tough. You got guys, Florida's known for defense. We got some good guys in that D-line. So hopefully they can get it together, man. But I wouldn't be mad or sad that if I go to a practice and see our offensive line getting killed. In my time, my offensive line has always been getting killed in practice. Then we go to the game and they're blocking them great because it's not the perfect play call. These guys don't know what can beat us. Like the D-line just has fun at a certain point in time, especially once they know like they got them boys.
And also too, the way you're doing spring practice is like, hey, you're installing something Monday and then you're practicing it on Tuesday. And then you're installing something different on Wednesday, and then you're building on what you've installed. And at some point, the defensive line is like, okay, I know exactly what they've done, how they're lining up, and you can cheat in practice.
Defensive installs is probably done by now. Ain't too much more they pouring in. Everything will be more
ball, get ball.
Yeah. But I mean the offensive wise, like you're seeing what the offense is doing from a defensive line. Hey, I know what you're saying.
Versus offense, they're still probably installing right now. It's still like much new to these guys. Versus the defense feels comfortable at this point. They're like, you know what, man, we've been running this stuff for so many weeks. Like it's only a couple of variations you could do on the defensive side of the ball to kind of make it hard for the defense as far as like mentally preparing for what you got to do for the play and executing it at the snap.
I haven't heard that the offensive line was bad. I've heard that they're trying to find that 5 more than anything, but I haven't heard that it's been particularly bad. Defensive line is more talented than the offensive line just because Jared Chapman has been an absolute animal over there. Eval, recruiting, everything. And Rob Sell had O-line room. So just naturally, the D-line room is more talented, So I expect a lot of that, but I'm not hearing that it's bad. I trust Phil to get a 5 on there. Chemistry, once you get that 5, figure out what that 5 is, the chemistry will get a little better and them guys will gel because offensive line is just that type of position group where gelling and knowing each other and communicating, all that stuff takes a little time to build. It's different with defensive line. So I expect the defensive line to be ahead, but Phil will get them right.
Yeah, we're just 3 months into the Summerall era anyway. So they'll obviously you're not going to have practice the same way that they have organized practice now, but you're still going to have additional time in the weight room. You're still going to have time together to really see where you get from month 3 to month 6 before, summer really gets into full swing.
I do think I think I have a little more clarity in Jordan's room. Obviously, Jaden Ball is one. I think Duke Clark's going to be your backup. I think he's going to take that job.
Big Duke, man.
2.
Let's go.
And then Evan Pryor, 3. London Montgomery, 4. And then our Broward boy, Byron Lewis, 5th. It's a talented room, but I see Duke running so much more physical this year. I think he's the fastest running back in the room. Top end speed.
Sure.
Yeah.
But seeking out contact on Saturday.
Well, I'm sure especially missing part of his senior year, right?
Nick,
injured, coming over, being injured, being somewhat buried on the depth chart as you're going to be. And now you went and you got a backup running back from Ohio State. You got the starting running back from East Carolina, and you're trying to show that you deserve that spot because we all know that Jaden Ball was going to be the starter. Now it's an opportunity. And what's going to separate you? Seeking out contact and making big plays when your number gets called. And I've heard nothing but great things about Duke Clark from you and from other folks that have gone to practice.
Bro, in one time, I read a report. I think Jacoby Jackson is running with the ones up at Ohio State. So shout out to Jack Cheese.
Sir.
I mean,
shout out to Jack Cheese, dog, running with the ones.
I was always a big Jacoby Jackson fan, and I think
you like that now.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that Jacoby Jackson is an NFL player, and I have no reason to believe that. I think last year just was a kind of a comedy of errors, and what could go wrong did go wrong, and obviously didn't have a great year last year. But he also wants the opportunity to tote the rock more, and Jaden Ball just had a breakout year. So you're going to go find an opportunity, and now you go to a team that's going to be a top 3 team in the country, and you're running with the ones. I'm pumped for Jacoby Jackson.
100%. 100%.
Especially his story. I mean, his story was incredible. I mean, we talked for 30 minutes with him at our Independent Gator Media Day just about how he made it through COVID and getting into junior college and then ultimately finding his way up at UF and getting that opportunity. He's a one-of-a-kind dude.
Yeah, he had to fight for this last year too, because it wasn't a given that it was going to be given to him. And in your career, maybe with an injury, your college career with an injury, that wouldn't been the storybook ending that I want for a kid like that had been through a lot. So I'm glad he's getting a second opportunity or third opportunity out at Ohio State, man.
Yeah,
he's on a very talented team. Might work out for him.
He is just like last year when I was going into practices throughout the fall. He's telling me, he's like, Nick, they won't let me play. And I'm like, yeah, bro, you can't feel your fingers. Like, yes, they won't let you play. He but wanted to play football. So I think it worked out well for him just in the sense of only playing 4 games last year to kind of help him get that extra year. And great kid. Wish nothing but for the best for him as long as Ohio State loses to Michigan.
Can't retweet that comment. Heard some good things about Dijon Johnson. Obviously, you mentioned Ben Hanks and Cormani McLean. All seemingly had pretty good scrimmages.
Yeah, Dijon got his hands on a ball. It was interesting because Cormani and Ben are your starting cornerbacks from everything I've seen, but didn't run out with the ones on Saturday for the first drive. But those are two starters. You've got to get 6 more reps. You've got to get Dijon more reps. And Dijon, I've seen him win a ton and lose a ton going up against some of the receivers Florida has. Like he gets Micah Mays, he gets VB3. Like he's getting great reps against these guys. But yeah, Dijon, I think, looks good coming back from the ACL injury. Started spring, not practicing the first week, maybe the first 4 practices, but looks good running. No brace, looks like he trusts it. That the cornerback room is thin. Talk to Quincy, who works with those guys, sits in every meeting, obviously, says we have a lot of work to do. That room is thin. It gets scary hours if you get an injury for any extended period of time, just in terms of depth. There is no spring portal, so there's no help coming. But I like the talent. I just wish there were more bodies in that room.
Right.
Yeah, I think they should be doing a lot of cross training. I've seen even Thornton get some shots at the star, so I've seen them messing around a little bit with the star and the safety spots, but I wouldn't mind seeing, maybe we could find a Triquez Bridges somewhere in this group that could play a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so I was talking to Ben Elsner. I'm going to explain it poorly, so I'll try to explain it now and remind me. I'll ask and explain it better next week.
Appreciate the heads up, man.
The star, they're basically treating it as a safety, and they'll have their 3 safeties out there, and they will kind of rotate based on personnel. Like DJ Coleman, bigger, not going to be covering your slot receivers. So if he's out there and they go 4 wide, you'd slide Bryce down and have DJ go up top. Kanye Clark, more of your nickel kind of guy. If they have a tight end that splits out, hey, you might slide Bryce Thornton over to cover the tight end and have Kanye go up. So you kind of have 3 safeties on the field, and you will rotate them based on what the offense's personnel is, especially if you're in a situation where the offense is moving fast and you can't get subs. So I will we might just have to get Ben Elsner on the show. But,
yeah, I mean, that would be a great one.
But he was kind of explaining it to me because Kanye is the starting nickel. And then I noticed like the way that they changed, I was asking questions at practice about it. So he explained it to me. I think I did better than I thought I would.
I think you did great, Nick. I think the fans understand. I understand.
Yeah, I'm following.
I do. I feel like you did. I'm not. I often pull your chain, but this time I'm not.
Sometimes when I'm talking football, I wait to see if Jordan's head is nodding. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it well. I'm figuring it out. One foot in front of the other.
Jordan now work on his cues so that he doesn't give you any in the future. Just you have to have your own internal self-confidence. Nick, you've been watching the sport up close and personal for 14 years now. 13
Buddy,
years?
I'm in a house with 3 women now. I don't know if I'll have self-confidence.
He's slowly losing.
I don't know if I'll ever have self-confidence again.
True. Let me get Nick on some TRT. Any final commentary before we head out? Oh, Micah Hand locked in to the portal today. National champion, originally transferred here from Michigan. And is going to probably, in my opinion, be looking for some playing time at his next spot. This is with no inside information or anything else. I think that bodes well potentially for what Florida feels like they might be returning. So certainly wish Micah well. Came back from a devastating injury, has the opportunity to go play one final year. I think he has to petition for it still.
Yeah, so I can speak to it a little bit. So he has to petition. So in basketball, it's not like football. You don't get 4 games and you can still preserve red shirt. The second you play a minute, you burn your red shirt. I think Ben Chase is actually, shout out to our guy Ben. Sorry I missed you last week, Ben. I think Ben's actually representing him. But I think you're 100% correct. It is. He wants to play more minutes, wants to potentially start. and I think it's kind of a mutual decision. You can read into that what you will in terms of what's coming back, but there is no ill will on Florida's part or Micah's part. He didn't start his career at Florida; started at Marshall. Mike is
I'm sorry. I apologize.
One of the coolest guys, one of the nicest guys, most genuine that you'll ever meet. So sad for us, but happy to see Micah go somewhere where he can get either a starting role or some more minutes.
Yeah, my apologies. I meant Marshall. I don't know why I said Michigan. Thanks for the correction there. So he joins Ali Ryu, who went into the transfer portal, I think right before the show last week. So Gator's still waiting on the big announcements, but I'm reading the tea leaves. So if you choose to, you can as well. Basketball portal opens, I think, officially tomorrow. The women's portal opened up today. The Gators did lose Liv McGill and one other player. So we are going to be getting the new women's basketball coach on in the next couple of weeks. But the Gators women's basketball team is going to go through a bit of a rebuild, and the basketball transfer portal will open up on Friday. I don't expect, just based on the way that the roster looks right now, for there to be a ton of activity. Doesn't mean that they won't get a couple, but I wouldn't expect as active as a transfer portal maybe for Florida as you've seen in the past. And yes, this is true. Nice. Without Micah, UF does not win the national championship in basketball last year. No, 100%. Micah's involvement last season, burning his red shirt to play a couple of games at the end of the year, is just really a selfless act, and he will go down in UF lore because of that. Well, with that, boys, I think that wraps it up. Nick, you're in charge next week. And we'll see you guys same corner, same time next week.
God help us.
Oh, who do you guys have tonight? Who do you guys have tonight? Michigan or UConn?
Michigan.
Nick.
I'm going Michigan.
Oh, Michigan's a wagon.
Yeah, Michigan. They look sick. They look sick. I just can't see Dan Hurley be excited. I would love a last-second shot.
Shout out Dan Hurley, bro. I like the headbutt thing you did, man.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to somebody earlier today. I was like, he's that guy that you love to hate because he's not on your team. But if he's on your team,
you love him.
Fight tooth and nail for him.
Kevin Garnett, Brad Marchand in the NHL. Whoa. Panther legend Brad Marchand. How dare you?
You guys are out of the playoffs. You guys are the first team ever to win back-to-back championships and not make the playoffs. Anyway, we're in the playoffs, so you guys can all cheer us on again. With that, we'll see you guys same corner, same time next week, and we might have some content before that, but won't spoil that. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Sit.